think. Okay, right, right. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the eCom Sellers. I guess I won't say it's a power hour because it's not, but it is the morning motivation. And we are on a journey to help you be more consistent in your business. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I am with eCom Sellers. I also have allergies, so I probably sound a little funny this morning. And I come to you every morning to talk to you about one little area of your life or your business to help you improve or to help you achieve your goals, whatever those goals are in your e-commerce business. So it's around achieving your goals, getting organized, getting consistent, planning your day, being intentional. And so we do this every morning. I am live on Clubhouse. I'm also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can join us there if you want to see the screen that we're talking about today. And so today we are talking about consistency. So if you're a person that needs a little more consistency in their e-commerce business or a little more consistency in your life, you can join me there. If you want to schedule time to talk about your business and to talk about some of the things you can do to improve your business operations, to achieve your long-term goals, you can schedule time with me at www.ecomsellers.com and you can click on coaching session. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. I also want to encourage you, if you don't have it yet, to get the ecom planner. You can go to www.myecomplanner.com. We have a digital version and a physical version to help you in your e-commerce business to achieve those goals and to get the consistency that you need. So today's topic is consistency. I just grabbed an article. I don't know anything about this article. Um, I always just I choose something random because I want to see what other people have to say about this specific topic. So, um, so they're talking about 8 ways. I think this is developgoodhabits.com, and then they have forward slash consistent. So developgoodhabits.com forward slash consistent. Again, I've never read this article. I just randomly chose it right before we went live. So the topic is at the top of this particular article is 8 rules to be more consistent in life. So we'll see what they have to say. Let's go down the list and see what the 8 rules are. So one, it says develop consistent habits. I'm not seeing what the rule is. So let's be realistic. Okay. So to be consistent, here we go. One is to be realistic in your goals. I agree with that 100%. Whatever goals you set for your day and for your week and for your month, be realistic about them. You don't want them to be too easy, but you don't want them to be so hard that you're just going to feel completely dejected and you want to quit. So make sure that they're realistic, and make sure that sometimes those goals stretch you a little bit, but they don't just, that they're not always 100% hard. So mix it up. I try to, if I'm trying to implement a new goal for me personally, I try to make sure I mix it up with something that may be a little more challenging with something that is easy. But I also make sure that the two combinations, like they make sense together. Not that I'm randomly choosing two completely separate things. Next is to stick to a schedule. Absolutely. I agree 100% with this article when they say stick to a schedule. So make sure you create a schedule for yourself and stick to it. And they say whether it's a planner or a calendar, which we sell both, or reminders on your phone. I use that. So that's one of the things I teach all the time is use reminders on your phone. These are all easy tools. Like, your phone is a great one. Gmail is a great one to help you build out different things. The next one they say is use reminders. Absolutely. I think reminders will also help you to be consistent. I have alarms that go off. An alarm is going to go off at around 7:28. So if you do not know this, like we come to you every morning at 7 a.m., Monday through Saturday, and then one Sunday a month where we do this ecom planning session. Now, normally it's about 7:05, but in any case, we still come to you every day. And I have alarm set to for my VAs, which normally go off at around 7:28, so I can meet with them at 7:30. So those reminders, I also have reminders on my schedule itself, so it does a little pop-up thing as well. So I agree with that. The next one is okay, so handling mistakes in your routine. Let's go see what they say. It says handling mistakes in your routine. I know I talk fast sometimes, read fast sometimes, just depends on how much sleep I've had. I didn't get much sleep last night because I've been coughing like a crazy person. Um, so there goes one of my alarms. That's the alarm for the kids to get up. So when I have the alarm in here, so that doesn't help them get up, huh? So I wasn't consistent about that. So let's see what this article has to say. So, handling mistakes in your routine. No matter how hard you try to be consistent, you're always going to make a mistake. Absolutely. Grace and mercy. From time to time, you're going to make mistakes. I agree 100%. Even if you're increasingly organized, I raise my hand, and you're going to slip up from time to time. I mean, I consider myself to be an organized person, but I do slip up. So, it is what it is. And if you made a mistake, try not to beat yourself up. There is this is something that happens from time to time. Absolutely, I agree. I say that all the time. Like, don't allow this to break your routine. So for some people, it will ruin your consistency, and so that's what they're talking about. Don't let that. Don't slip on that. Slip up on that. Okay, number three, increase your willpower. Okay, so I'm going to read the first couple sentences of this article. It says you don't need to expect to step outside your front door and run a marathon if you haven't done any athletic training. I agree. I talked about that with my son the other day. And it will take some time for you to build up your willpower as well. So if you become more consistent, your willpower, you will increase your willpower and allow you to perform well, even when you don't feel like it. Absolutely, 100%. Of course, the only way you're going to do that is if you practice. And I was talking to him about that. My son does not understand. Like, he thinks, okay, I did it once and I'm ready to go. And I'm like, no, no, no. That's not how life goes. Like, I can't expect to be able to, go, oh, I went to track practice once and now I'll be able to run a marathon. It's ironic that this article comes up. So, we had to go through that exercise. I'm like, would I be able to run a marathon? He's like, no. So would I need to go and practice every single day for a while? Yes. And then eventually I'll get there where I'll be able to run a marathon. So we literally had this conversation last night. Irony. Okay. Get plenty of sleep. Oh, I agree. Now, this is where I fall and I fail. So I'm just going to say that I don't get plenty of sleep. My son last night, again, woke up. We have a sleep study with the neurologist coming up. I'm so glad for that. But yeah, so a couple of things that they say talking about get plenty of sleep. One, try to stay away from your screens before bed. That blue light, it's not good for your brain. It's going to trigger you to stay awake. Go to sleep at the same time every evening. I agree with that. I try to do that with my boys. I don't do it with myself. I'm just going to be honest. So you can train your body to go to sleep and avoid caffeine. I do avoid caffeine, so that's not a problem for me. And so they say you avoid caffeine. So, and then give yourself time to change your mindset. So this I do agree with. I agree that it does take some time to change that mindset. Yes, all of my alarms are all going off, all my notifications. So give yourself time to change your mindset. Again, you're not going to get immediate results. And so the only way to get consistent and stay consistent is you do have to allow yourself time. So remember to um, set smaller, I think they mean goals along the way. So don't try to tackle too much at once. Small changes will eventually add up. So I talk about incremental changes. I say that often. Incremental changes, bite-sized change, just incrementally over time, inch by inch, you'll get there. Set boundaries for your personal relationships and more. Well, yeah. I mean, I do try to make sure I don't know in the context of that, so I'll have to go back and read that entire boundaries will make it easier for you to keep your commitments because you know what to expect from other people. Well, I think if you're running an e-commerce business, letting your family know what you're expecting to do. Like if this is the window in which I'm working in my business, your family needs to know that I'm working in my business during this time. So don't bother me. Let's try to be nice about it, but put up warning signs. Like I used to put up a stop sign on my door and shut the door. I can't leave my door shut anymore, but I used to put a stop sign on the door. And I would go to the library. There's a college library nearby, and I'd go and sit there and work, which is great. Um, Sometimes I would that's how I would like set boundaries because my kids weren't they wouldn't stop coming to talk to me. They would literally come and talk to me while I was supposed to be working. So one of the things that I would tell them, okay, this is the time in which mommy is working. And during this time, I need you to do these things and give them an activity to do. I think I talked about that in the monthly planning session. So when you have to do something for a dedicated amount of time, definitely set boundaries. But I don't know, in the context of this particular reference, give yourself time to change your mindset. I don't know about the boundaries piece. I don't know that there's a direct correlation, but I'll read the whole paragraph later and we'll come back and I'll give you my assessment. Next one is to take advantage of motivational tools. I agree 1000%. I have mentioned many times in order for me to be consistent, like I have a playlist on YouTube that I'll play. And so I'll listen to that. And if I need to work for 1 hour or 2 hours, I'll play that in the background. Other things I'll do is I will play focus and concentration or study music on YouTube and just have it playing in the background while I work really low, have it playing really low. That helps those of us who have ADD, ADHD, if you have it, or if you're not really sure, you're undiagnosed. I believe I'm undiagnosed, but we'll see one day. And then other motivational tools, like if there's something else that you really like or really enjoy, like when you get done with the task, then you celebrate. So it says remember to take breaks throughout the day. Absolutely. Um, Remember that you have long-term goals that you're trying to hit. So think about how you're going to feel when you achieve them. Yes, and I always talk about celebrating your little wins. Every win, not little wins. Every win is not a little win, just every win. Just whatever it is, if you're able to get through your entire checklist today, celebrate that. If you had a checklist of 20 things, you got through 8, celebrate that. That's 8 less things you got to deal with. So let's celebrate our successes along the way and not beat ourselves up. It says it's okay to compromise from time to time, increase your knowledge about yourself, and see what drives you. So, I believe in personal development. So, if that's something you enjoy doing, put that on your list of activities you want to do. So, we're talking about consistency today, guys. And the next, we're reading an article that's online. So, if you happen to be on Clubhouse, you can join us in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. The article happens to be on developgoodhabits.com/consistent. So, we'll see. Number 7, only make promises you can keep. Yeah. Another important to have is that you need to develop, and that need to have it is develop if you would like to be more consistent, is to only make promises you can actually keep. People like to be liked by other people. I don't know about that, and therefore there's a tendency. We all have a tendency to say yes when someone asks us for help. So, I agree with that. Make promises you can only keep. The thing I will say about that is, in the making of promises that you can keep, um, it is about building realistic goals for sure. It is also about setting the expectation, making sure that other people understand the expectation. And if it is something that's important, like, you've got to take care of a sick family member because they unable to take care of themselves, they're going to go in for surgery, then you can still keep that promise and run your business. You just have to make sure that you schedule things around that particular activity. Make sure you add a buffer just in case things don't go as expected, and make adjustments to your goals and the things that you're tracking during that window. Make adjustments to them. Don't have high numbers that you're trying to hit. Lower your numbers just a little bit because life happens. So do not promise to give someone a ride unless you actually can keep that. This is what they wrote. Okay. Do not tell your significant other that you're going to handle your chores unless you actually plan to. I do make sure on the weekly planning session that we schedule time for chores. Do not promise to help someone move unless you actually plan to. So again, you can help people do stuff, just make sure you put it on your schedule. It's coming up. Someone moving is not normally a surprise. Like 99% of the time, it's not a surprise. And 1% of the time, it's a surprise. So that's something you can plan around. So keep that in mind. And then what was number 8? I don't see a number 8 yet. This is a long article. They have a lot of ads on this blog. Anyway, make an effort to reward yourself. So we did already talk about that, sort of. We talked about little rewards. So if you manage to finish up work early and work is going well, give yourself a little extra activity, have a special dinner, consider exercise goals, okay, that you've reached. And then once you've reached them, you'll be in better shape. But I think this is a pretty good article. Um, if you've done a good job maintaining relationships with your family and friends, consider inviting them for dinner to celebrate. So I think these are all good things that you can do to help you with your consistency if you're struggling with it. Hold on for just a second. Let me just say, I hate allergy season so much. Everything is budding, blooming. Everything is sprouting. Everything is everything. So, with that being said, this wasn't a bad article. I actually appreciated it. And you can check it out if you're in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can go and check it out there. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to our daily activities. And we're going to run through this pretty quickly and we're going to go. So if you don't have an eCom planner, please go grab one at www.myecomplanner.com. If you need help with building your schedule so that you can be a little more consistent in your business, that will help you. You can also schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me. You can go to www.ecomsellers.com and click on coaching, and then you can schedule a 20-minute coaching session. I would be happy to talk to you about your plans and what are the things you're doing in your business every single day. Let's get into it. Let's dissect it. Let's pull back the sheets and let's look on the inside and see what's happening. So, on our daily planning, this is what we're going to do. From a habit standpoint, if you're challenged with procrastination and you're not being consistent in your business, one of the things I want to encourage you to do is set aside some time just before you go to bed. So, just before you stop your blue screen time, right before you go to bed, maybe 15 minutes before you go to bed, 30 minutes before you go to bed, I want you to do an assessment of how you feel today went. So we're going to go ahead and document how today went, whether or not we achieved our goals, got through our checklist, finished our to-do list, whatever it happens to be. Did we actually do everything we said we were going to do? And we're going to track our stats around what we did today, for sure. The next thing we're going to do, and again, celebrate the stuff you did get done. Don't beat yourself up. This will also help us to figure out what are the things we need to carry over to tomorrow, which will be today. Today is Thursday, the 7th. Um, the next thing is before you go to bed, go through your online calendar. Your online calendar, whether you track your doctor's appointments there, dentist appointments, appointments with the insurance guy, whatever it happens to be, is your I'm not surprised. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. A lot of the times we are just completely caught off guard because we're not going back and checking that calendar. So I use Google Gmail calendar, and it has worked out for me for several years. I also use the little notification and reminder thing. There's the little notifications at the bottom. So I have notifications that pop up. Like for some things, I'll have them pop up 30 minutes before, an hour before. Other things, I'll have them pop up like a day before so that I'm not surprised by them. Like, oh, and I put the date in the reminder up at the top of the description. So again, we're going to do a Gmail calendar exercise so everybody can see what I do. The next thing is that we're going to build out the schedule for tomorrow. So Wednesday night, we build out the schedule for Thursday. If you're doing the weekly planning session, then you just grab your template, fill in the actual, and you're done. So it takes less than 5 minutes to do all of the things that I mentioned. The maximum amount of time you spend is 15 minutes. So you just need to make sure you dedicate 5 minutes before you go to bed to knock all this out. This morning, today, Thursday, after you've done your morning routine, whatever that happens to be, coffee, exercise, stretching, reading your Bible, meditating, whatever your routine is, I'm not trying to disrupt that. But when you're ready to hit the ground running, let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reassess yesterday. We're going to go back and look and see what we documented. Because sometimes when we document stuff right before we go to sleep, if it's been a long day, we're exhausted and we miss stuff. So our goal, long-term, bigger picture, is to build a better schedule. Also, to account for our time. We are our own personal time cop. So that's what we're trying to do here. The next thing is, so we account for everything, we'll build a better schedule in the future. Number two is that we're going to go through and review our weekly priorities and weekly habits. It's Thursday. So, what do we say we needed to accomplish this week? The things that are on our weekly priority, are they things that can only be done during the business week? If so, we got to get hopping because today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, and the business week is over. So, let's get hopping on those. Also, our habits. We don't want to break the streak. We want to be consistent about the things that we said we're working towards every single day. These can be things that we're doing in our business or in our personal life. So let's make sure we're tracking that. The next thing, we're going to just take a glance at our monthly calendar. When we do our monthly planning session, I talk about what are the things I'm doing in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of the month. And so, what's the focus each one of those weeks? Each week has a theme or a focus, or it should, depending on what you do. Now, you can do the same thing every single week, but again, at the beginning of the month, more than likely you're going to have an increase in administrative tasks than you will for week 2 or week 3 or week 4. That's because you're wrapping up the previous month. So that's why. So go and glance at that. What was on the agenda for week 1, so we don't forget that when we're thinking about today. And then we are going to go ahead and work on today's schedule. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at what we wrote down last night. We're going to tweak it. We're going to edit it. We're going to rewrite it if we need to. I encourage you, just like affirmations, read it, write it, speak it to yourself out loud so you can hear yourself. You read it to yourself the night before. You're going to activate that subconscious mind. So that subconscious mind, like a relay race, can hand it over to the conscious mind and say, okay, it's your turn. You got to run with this. And what that'll do for you for the rest of the day is just bring you back to center, bring you back to what are you supposed to be focused on. So when you get distracted and you get sucked into the vortex of TikTok videos or YouTube videos, or your neighbor comes over and wants to talk about the roses in the front yard, and you're out there for 3 hours talking about roses, like, it reminds you, this is during my work time. I'm supposed to finish this today. These are things I'm working on. We will have to pencil in another time to finish this conversation about these roses. And then we're going to go ahead and just take a stab at tomorrow's schedule before we get started hopping on this schedule for today. Last but not least, we're going to think about those things that may disrupt or interrupt or impact our ability to stay consistent that are coming up. These are not surprises. These are more than likely planned things. The majority of the time, stuff is planned. We're just caught off guard. Surprises are the kid falls and you have to go to the ER. That's a surprise. You get a flat tire. That's a surprise. Things like that. Other things, a lot of the time it's planned and you just forgot. So again, if you're increasing your awareness of what you put on your personal calendar, you'll get rid of those. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. The other piece of that is you can plan for those things that are going to be major disruptions in your ability to be consistent. So if one of your habits that you're trying to build is to create listings every single day, and your goal is to list 10 items a day, because we're not going to be generic about our goals. We're going to be very specific. So if it's 10 items a day, well, during that window in which you need to support your family, someone's having surgery and you got to go care for them or take care of their kids or watch their dog or whatever it happens to be, check on their house, or, go get their prescriptions, whatever it happens to be, then you need to say, okay, during this window for the next week or for the next 2 weeks, instead of keeping that goal of 10 listings per day, I'm going to put it down to 2. Something that's attainable, but allows you to keep the consistency going around creating listings. All right, with that being said, my name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers. My passion is helping you to be consistent in your e-commerce business, helping you to build goals, achieve your dreams, get to your goal numbers, whatever that happens to be, regardless of e-commerce platform. I don't care if you sell on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, Walmart. I don't care what you do, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace. There are action steps that all online sellers go through, and if they're selling products. And so those action steps are the same across every platform and across every e-commerce method. So my goal is to help you to figure out how you can be more consistent in those actions that are actually going to help you reach your goals. If you're a person that wants to chat with me about it, I'll be happy to sit down. You can go to www.ecomsellers.com, schedule a 20-minute coaching session. I can talk now by clicking on coaching. You can also connect with me on Facebook. I'm on the e-commerce planning Facebook group, so you can join that. It's an open public Facebook group. There are documents in that Facebook group that I have uploaded that you can use as a reference point, and we're also live on Clubhouse. So share this out with a friend, tag a friend, let somebody know about this. Let's all get consistent. Let's all achieve our 2022 goals. And my wish for you, my prayer for you, my hope for you is today that you have a highly productive, highly motivated, highly consistent day, that you achieve all the goals that you have listed for today, and that you reach your long-term goals for your business. With that being said, I'll say goodbye for now. Bye, guys. Have a blessed day.